while your spouse stops opening up and what to do about it. If your spouse has stopped opening up to you, it may not be because they don't want to talk to you. After 34 years of marriage, we have learned that most people don't withdraw because they have nothing to say. They withdraw because they don't feel safe communicating.
In this video, we will show you the subtle ways that emotional safety gets damaged in a relationship and the practical steps that you can take to rebuild trust so meaningful conversations can happen again.
Teresa, the key scripture this week is James 1:19, which tells us, "Let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath." God designed for relationships begin with listening, not fixing, not correcting, not defending, just listening. Point number 1, Teresa, most withdrawal is protection, not rejection. Most spouses are not trying to reject or hurt their spouses. Withdrawal is usually a protective instinct, a response, Teresa.
That's true.
To feeling that they've been misunderstood, judged, dismissed, or they feel emotionally unsafe.
That's true. I know I've done that many times in my life. Yes.
So your marriage has to be a safe place. Your marriage has to be a safe haven, a safe bubble, a safe universe where your spouse can come to you about anything, any kind of feeling, any kind of concerns without being dismissed or rejected or criticized. Teresa?
Oh, yes, that is so true. That works both ways. Remember, if you want to have that safe space when you have concerns or something to share, you also need to offer the same thing to your spouse.
People tend to hide what feels vulnerable, Teresa.
That's so true.
When they fear the negative consequences.
If you share something that's a weakness, you don't want to feel ashamed if your spouse says, "You shouldn't have a problem with that." Yes, I do have a problem with that. I'm trying to tell you. So some people may not share those things in their marriage thinking, my spouse is just going to think less of me if I tell them I have a problem with this.
So don't automatically interpret silence as a lack of love. Spouse may be hurting. Signs, some clear signs that you may see. This will be an indication that your spouse feels unsafe when your conversations become surface level. When you get one-word answers like, "I'm fine," "okay," whatever. The feelings remain hidden, so your spouse has gone into protective shell, kind of like a tortoise, right? And it's trying to protect. They're trying to protect themselves. You know how like it is. You hit your hammer, you hit your thumb with a hammer. You just grab it and you hold it, right? And you throw the hammer away and you grab it and hold it. That's what people do when they get hurt on the inside. They just grab it and hold it.
Sure, they're going to protect their emotions and protect their thoughts and their feelings by keeping them inside.
And you find that difficult subjects are being avoided, and you'll find that the vulnerability disappears. Your spouse is no longer vulnerable with you. So the spouse isn't trying to disconnect. They're simply trying to protect their heart. After 34 years of marriage, we learned that there are seasons when one of us becomes quieter. And usually the solution wasn't pressure on the other one saying, "Open up."
No, that doesn't really work.
So what the solution is, you create an atmosphere where your spouse feels safe opening up. Teresa?
Oh, that's so good. Just encouraging them, saying, "Hey, I know you're having a hard time right now, and if you need to talk about anything, I'm here." Just being present, being caring and concerned for your spouse, not enabling. This isn't enabling. This is just saying, when you're ready to open up or share about this, I'm here and I'm ready to listen. And I care about what's going on with you.
So if withdrawal is self-protection, the next question becomes, what makes someone feel unsafe enough to pull back? Point number 2, criticism shuts hearts down. Criticism says, you're the problem. Teresa?
You feel like you're under attack if someone is criticizing you. And it's going to immediately make the other person want to shut down.
Even well-intended criticism can feel like condemnation. So we all have a past. We all have an upbringing. We all have previous relationships, things that went on in our lives. You may say something that you did not intend to hurt your spouse, but your spouse heard something that's so familiar to something that happened to them in the past, or something that was said to them in the past, something that was done to them in the past. They immediately gave it the same connotation. They gave it the same meaning. Teresa?
Yes, exactly. That's how it works. That's what's going on in their soul usually. Unless a person has had a lot of healing in those areas, it's very easy for that to happen. Even if you have worked out a lot of those things, still the enemy will try to get you to take rejection from your spouse, bringing a concern or saying, hey, this doesn't look right, or something's going on and I need to tell you about it, and you may take it as criticism even though it hasn't been intended as criticism. They're just trying to bring up something that needs to be addressed. So we really have to choose our words wisely, don't we, Jeff?
And repeated criticism trains people to remain silent.
Oh, yes.
Like, it's not worth it. I'm just not going to say anything. I'm not going to bring that up ever again.
Yeah, who wants to invite being belittled over and over if you've already been experiencing that? Nobody wants that.
So there's a difference between expressing a concern and attacking character. So you have to be very careful when you talk to your spouse that you're not attacking their character, not attacking their motives, not attacking their integrity if you have a concern. So you have to be careful with our words, don't we, Teresa?
Yes, I think it really helps to pray first if you need to bring up something that you may see your spouse doing something that looks like they're heading in a wrong direction. Let's say any friend would say, I don't want my friend to be going into this situation and not realizing they're about to get caught in a trap or get themselves into a place they don't know how to get out of, with wrong associations or something going on at work that's not healthy, whatever it is. But you're going to need to pray before you start addressing this with your spouse, to talk to them about it.
Proverbs tell us that death and life are in the power of the tongue. Your words can either tear down or they can build up. A person who feels judged rarely feels safe enough to be fully known. And Proverbs 15:1 tells us a soft answer turns away wrath. Your tone matters, delivery matters, and safety matters.
So if you want to bring up a problem, like maybe a communication problem you're having with your spouse, like Jeff said, using scripture for wisdom here, come to your spouse gently, not attacking, not saying, I don't like the way you're talking to me. Whatever, the tone is wrong, and then coming at them with something that sounds like an attack, that's not going to resolve any issues. And like you said, they're going to feel like shutting down. Oh, you're saying I'm the problem. So definitely coming gently and with the right tone and the right words, that will make all the difference.
Let us ask you this question. What makes you feel emotionally safe in a conversation? Being listened to, being understood, being encouraged, or is it something else? Point number 3, understanding creates openness. Most people listen to respond rather than understand. So usually when someone is talking, a lot of the time the person who's listening is thinking about their rebuttal or their defense or what they're going to say in response instead of listening to the other person. If this is a case of you and your spouse, you need to listen to your spouse all the way through instead of thinking, hey, this is how I'm going to defend myself.
Exactly.
No, you need to respect your spouse enough to listen to everything he or she is saying. Teresa?
Yes, you usually can jump to the wrong conclusion if you're not letting your spouse or listening to everything your spouse is saying. Maybe trying to explain what they're going to talk to you about and then bring up the actual concern or the issue. But if you don't listen all the way through, you're going to just, like Jeff said, you're just going to be thinking about a response, and maybe a very wrong response, because you're assuming the wrong thing.
Your spouse will feel emotionally safe when they feel like they're being heard before they're being corrected. If Teresa is coming to me with a concern and my first response is, well, you shouldn't have done that, you should have done this. That's not what she wants to hear right away, is it, Teresa?
No, it's not really helpful. Then I'll just say, I don't think I'm going to bring that issue up again, or I may not talk to you about this. I'll just handle it
myself. I'll just deal with it. Right.
That's defying the purpose of marriage. You do have someone to help you.
So what we have to do, we need to seek to understand your spouse's feelings, their fears, and their experiences before you offer a solution. So when your spouse is saying something, ask them, how did that make you feel? Or how did you react? Or what was going on? Why is this a concern? And just ask questions to help them complete their thoughts.
That way you get a better picture of where they're coming from and why this is a concern or an issue for them. Like you said, it could be something from their past that's making them feel like you're not giving them enough attention or spending enough time with them, whatever it is.
There's an issue of validation, and validation is conveying, I understand why you're feeling like you are. Some couples or some spouses are reluctant to validate their spouse's feelings because they feel like it's a surrender, or like it's not a battle. It's okay to say, I understand why you feel that way.
Yeah, we're not giving up any ground. We're not fighting over territory or anything. That's just a very soulish reaction we have sometimes. I'm going to have to give up something. I'm going to have to sacrifice something. But it doesn't have to be that way. It can be win-win, right? If we both listen to each other.
What you're saying to your spouse is your feelings are valid from your perspective. One thing you can ask is, help me understand what that feels like for you. So that kind of helps your spouse continue, oh, okay, I'm safe. Romans 12:15 tells us, rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. Understanding begins when we enter into another person's experience.
Our parents used to tell us, or maybe you had a teacher tell you this, put yourself in the other person's shoes. You think, their shoes? Are you serious? But they're really talking about, think about yourself being in that position. What would it be like if you were dealing with this? Right. So we have to be able to get our mind off ourselves and think, what would that be like for me if I was dealing with this?
Point number 4, listening is one of the greatest gifts you can give. Listening communicates value. You tell your spouse they're valuable by you listening to what they're saying.
Good.
Eye-to-eye contact, no distractions, face-to-face, listening, fully engaged, undivided attention. You're listening. And sometimes just you listening to them is way more valuable to them than any kind of advice you can give. So, guys, you don't have to fix everything.
I've heard of people talk about a situation, not complaining, but just talking about what's going on and explain it to their spouse. And then it's almost like a light turns on. Oh, I think I know what to do now, because they just needed to verbalize what was going on and see the whole picture.
People will generally open up when they sense genuine curiosity rather than interrogation.
Oh,
so
yes.
You're just interrogating your spouse. What, this, he's going to shut down. But if you're curious about his feelings and his thoughts, he'll open up to you. So we want to encourage you to have regular opportunities for conversation without pressure. That's why we recommend every day you sit down and you look each other in the eyes and you talk. And you could talk about any kind of concerns. A lot of times, if you talk about something early on instead of letting them fester, you can deal with it a lot easier.
Oh, yes. Usually can be resolved a lot easier, a lot quicker. And, right, it's not going to be something that you keep stumbling over or keep having an impasse about. You just go ahead and talk about things before they become a big problem.
When people feel safe, understood, and valued, they open up much easier. As we wrap up, remember, most spouses don't stop opening up because they no longer care. More often, they stop sharing because they no longer feel safe sharing. The good news is the emotional safety can be rebuilt one conversation at a time. If you like practical guidance in rebuilding your friendship connection and emotional intimacy in your marriage, we have a free resource for you. It's called From Lonely to Best Friends Again, 7-day devotional with practical steps that will help you become best friends with your spouse in 7 days. There's a link for it down below in the comments and also down below in the description of this video. Grab yourself a copy of that today. And if you're ready to make the next step, watch this video right here called The Conversation Mistake That Most Couples Make. And we'll see you over there. And remember, God designed husband and wife to be friends for life.